It begins with a rumble, deep beneath the vast blue ocean. The seafloor shakes, and a great mountain of fire and rock pushes its way towards the sun. For days, perhaps weeks, steam and ash billow into the sky. Rivers of molten orange lava pour into the cold sea, hissing and hardening. Then, one day, the eruption stops. A new piece of land has been born, right in the middle of the ocean. It is a brand new island, a place that no map has ever shown. Today, on the 3rd of January, 2026, we mark its first official day. It is a world made of nothing but black, jagged rock, completely silent and utterly empty. This island is a blank page in the book of life. There are no trees, no flowers, no soil, not even a single blade of grass. The air is still thick with the smell of sulfur, a reminder of its violent birth. The ground is a chaotic landscape of cooled lava, twisted into strange and wonderful shapes. Some rocks are smooth and glassy, like black mirrors reflecting the sky. Others are sharp and porous, like a giant sponge. There is no sound here except for the distant crash of ocean waves against the new shoreline. This is a sterile world, a place waiting for its story to begin. It is a rare and precious opportunity to witness creation itself. From our observation point, we can see the entire island. It is not large, perhaps only a few square kilometers. A central cone, the volcano's peak, rises towards the clouds. Its slopes are a dark, uniform black, stretching down to meet the deep blue water. The sun beats down on the fresh rock, but for now, nothing stirs. It is a scene of stark, dramatic beauty, a monument of pure geology, untouched by biology. Here, on this lonely outpost, the great processes of our planet are laid bare. It is a laboratory where we can watch the very first steps of life's incredible journey. How can life possibly begin in such a harsh and unforgiving place? Where will the first seeds come from? What creature will be the first to call this rock home? These are the questions that bring us here. The story of this island will be a story of incredible travelers and hardy survivors. It will be a tale of patience, of tiny changes that add up to something magnificent. Over the next 100 days, we will watch closely. We will document every small victory as this barren rock is slowly but surely transformed into a living world. The great spectacle of colonization is about to unfold before our very eyes. For the first 10 days, the island is a furnace. The sun shines brightly in the sky, but the real heat comes from below our feet. The black volcanic rock, which was liquid fire just a short time ago, holds the warmth of the Earth's core. You can feel it through the soles of your boots. In some places, steam still rises from deep cracks in the ground, a ghostly breath from the sleeping giant beneath. The air shimmers with this heat, making the landscape look like a dream. This intense warmth means that nothing can grow here yet. Any seed that landed now would simply be cooked before it had a chance to sprout. The only movement on the island is the slow, patient work of cooling. Day and night, the ocean breeze washes over the land. It carries away the heat, little by little. At night, the temperature drops, and the rocks contract with faint cracking sounds. This constant change, from hot days to cooler nights, starts to weaken the surface of the lava. Tiny fractures appear, like a network of fine veins. These small cracks are the very first signs of change. They are the first invitations for life, creating tiny spaces where water and dust might one day collect. It is a slow, almost invisible process, but it is the essential first step. The sea also plays its part in shaping this new world. Waves crash relentlessly against the island's new edges. They are nature's powerful sculptors. With each collision, the waves break off small pieces of the brittle rock. They grind the sharp edges, smoothing them into pebbles and then into coarse, black sand. This action creates the island's first beaches. This sand is not like the soft, white sand of an old tropical island. It is heavy and dark, made of tiny fragments of volcanic glass. It is the raw material from which future soil will be born, but for now, it is just sterile grit. During these first 10 days, the island remains a world of stone and steam. It is a geological wonder, but a biological desert. There are no sounds of animals, no patches of green. The only colors are the black of the rock, the blue of the sea, and the white of the clouds. It is a place of profound silence and emptiness, but this emptiness is not an end. It is a beginning. The stage is being set, the land is slowly preparing itself. The heat is fading, the rocks are beginning to crumble, and the forces of nature are patiently getting ready for the next act in this extraordinary play. Now, as we pass the second week, the island is cool enough to touch, the constant heat has faded, and a new phase begins. This is when the first pioneers start to arrive, not by walking or swimming, but by flying. They are carried on the wind, the invisible river that flows all around our planet. This wind picks up tiny, lightweight things from continents hundreds of kilometers away and carries them across the ocean. The island, sitting alone in the sea, acts like a giant net, catching these airborne travelers. They are the first seeds of life, arriving on a world that is ready to receive them. Among the first arrivals are microscopic spores. These are the dust-like seeds of lichens and mosses. They are incredibly light and tough, able to survive long journeys high in the atmosphere. They are too small for us to see with our eyes, but they are landing all over the island by the millions. They settle in the tiny cracks and crevices that have formed in the cooling lava rock. Most will find the conditions too harsh and will perish, but some, by sheer luck, will land in a spot that is sheltered from the wind and holds a tiny droplet of moisture from the morning mist. These are the chosen few. The ocean also delivers its own precious cargo. Floating on the waves, tangled in clumps of seaweed torn from distant shores, are other kinds of seeds. A tough coconut, its thick husk protecting it from the salt water, might wash up on a black sand beach. Small, hardy seeds from coastal plants, encased in protective shells, can also survive the long journey. Even insects can arrive this way. A spider might have spun a web on a piece of driftwood, which was then washed out to sea and eventually landed here. These are all lottery winners, survivors of an incredible oceanic voyage. So by day 25, the island is no longer entirely sterile. It has been dusted with the potential for life. Spores, seeds, and even a few tiny insects have made landfall. We cannot see any dramatic changes yet. The landscape still appears black and barren from a distance. But if you look very closely, down into the cracks of the rock, the first great battle for survival has begun. The spores are waiting for water, the seeds are nestled in the coarse sand. The island is no longer just a rock. It is a nursery, holding its breath and waiting for the first signs of green. The moment we have been waiting for has arrived. Around day 30, after a night of heavy ocean mist, the first hint of color appears. It is not a vibrant green, but a faint, grayish-green stain on the surface of the rocks. This is lichen. It is a remarkable partnership between two different life forms, a fungus and an alga. The fungus provides a home clinging to the bare rock and absorbing moisture from the air. The alga in return uses sunlight to create food through photosynthesis. Together, they can survive where neither could alone. They are the ultimate pioneers. These patches of lichen are incredibly important. They are life's first foothold on this volcanic wasteland. As they grow, they release weak acids. Over many days and weeks, these acids begin to break down the surface of the rock itself. They ever so slowly etch away at the hard lava, turning solid stone into tiny mineral particles. This is the very, very beginning of soil formation. Where the lichen grows, it also traps wind-blown dust and holds on to moisture. It creates a slightly richer, slightly damper microhabitat, preparing the ground for the next wave of arrivals. Soon after the lichens, the mosses begin to appear. Their spores, which arrived on the wind weeks ago, have found a home in the damp crevices prepared by the lichens. They are not like a big tree with deep roots. Mosses are simple plants that form a soft green carpet. They soak up rainwater like a sponge, creating tiny damp oases on the dry rock. When these mosses die, their decomposing bodies add the first traces of organic matter to the mineral dust. This is a crucial step. Life is now not only breaking down the rock, but also adding its own substance back into the environment. By day 40, the island has a subtle but definite green tinge in sheltered, damp places. Small cushions of moss are spreading, and the lichen patterns are growing larger. A few tough blades of grass, which sprouted from seeds washed ashore, might be seen poking through the black sand near the coast. These first plants are not large or dramatic, but their presence is revolutionary. They are capturing the sun's energy and turning it into living tissue. They are creating food and shelter where there was none. The silent, black island is beginning to breathe. The new patches of green, however small, send a signal that can be seen from high in the sky. Around day 45, the first birds arrive. They are likely seabirds, such as terns or gulls, who spend most of their lives soaring over the open ocean. They're looking for a safe place to rest, away from predators on the mainland. And, well, this new island is a perfect sanctuary. They land on the high cliffs and along the new shorelines, their calls breaking the long-held silence. Their arrival marks a major turning point, as they bring with them new connections to the outside world. These birds are more than just visitors, they are agents of change. They bring seeds with them, either stuck to their feathers or inside their digestive systems. After eating fruits on another island, they fly here and leave droppings. These droppings are not just waste, they're parcels of fertilizer containing seeds. These seeds are now planted in a much richer environment than the first wind-blown spores. They fall into the patches of moss which provide moisture, and the bird's own droppings provide an initial dose of nutrients. This gives a whole new range of plants the chance to grow. Along with the birds come other, smaller creatures. Insects like flies and beetles might have been carried here by the same strong winds that brought the first spores. But now, with plants to eat and birds to provide nutrients through their droppings, they have a reason to stay and multiply. Spiders who may have arrived on floating debris now have a steady supply of insects to catch. A simple food web is beginning to form. The insects eat the new plants, and the spiders eat the insects. The arrival of each new species creates opportunities for others. By day 60, the island is noticeably more alive. The calls of seabirds echo from the cliffs. If you look closely at the patches of moss and grass, you can see the hustle and bustle of tiny insects. The birds, flying back and forth from the sea, bring in nutrients from the ocean. Their droppings, rich in nitrogen and phosphorus, are a powerful fertilizer that accelerates the growth of the plants. The island is no longer an isolated system. It is now connected to the wider world by the constant traffic of wings, each arrival and departure weaving it more deeply into the web of life. The progress of life on the island is now powerfully influenced by the weather. The sun, which was once just a harsh force that baked the rocks, is now a source of life-giving energy. It powers photosynthesis in the lichens, mosses, and new grasses, allowing them to grow and spread. The long sunny days of the tropics, they really do encourage rapid growth. The green patches are becoming larger and more vibrant. What were once just faint stains of color are now becoming lush little carpets of vegetation, especially on the slopes that face the morning sun. The island is beginning to dress itself in green. Rain is the other critical element. A sudden tropical downpour can transform the island in a matter of hours. Water rushes down the volcanic slopes, carving small channels in the loose rock and ash. These channels, well, they become pathways for life. They carry seeds and spores from the higher elevations down to the lower plains, spreading life across the island. The water collects in low-lying areas, forming temporary pools. These pools become hotspots for life, allowing mosses to thrive and providing a place for insects to lay their eggs. Each rainfall is like a delivery system, redistributing resources and life itself. The wind which first brought the seeds of life now continues to shape the island's ecology. It can be a destructive force, tearing at the larger plants that are starting to take hold. This is why the first successful plants are low-growing and tough. But the wind also helps plants to reproduce. It carries pollen from one flower to another, and when the time comes, it will help to scatter the new seeds that the island's own plants have produced. The wind ensures that the process of colonization does not stop, but continues to push into every available corner of the island. By day 75, the island's landscape is visibly changing. The stark black rock is now patterned with green and gray. The rain has washed black sand and volcanic dust down the slopes, creating deeper pockets of material where plants can anchor themselves. The constant interplay of sun, rain, and wind is creating a more complex environment. There are now wetter areas and drier areas, sunny spots and shady spots. This variety of conditions allows for a greater variety of life. The weather is no longer just an external force, it is an active participant in building this new ecosystem. The most important transformation happening now is taking place under the surface. The slow, patient work of creating soil is accelerating. It began with the lichens breaking down the rock and the first mosses adding organic matter. Now, with more plants growing and dying, and with the constant supply of nutrients from bird droppings, the process is gathering speed. In the most fertile spots, a thin layer of something new is forming. It is not just sand or dust anymore. It is a dark, crumbly mixture of rock particles and decomposed organic material. This is the first true soil. This new soil is a living ecosystem in itself. It is home to countless microscopic bacteria and fungi. These tiny organisms, they're the great decomposers. They break down dead leaves, bird feathers, and insect bodies, recycling their nutrients and making them available for living plants. Earthworms or their relatives, perhaps arriving as eggs in mud stuck to a bird's foot, may now be found in the richest soil patches. As they burrow through the soil, they mix it up and create tunnels that allow air and water to penetrate deeper, making it even more fertile. With a layer of soil to anchor in, plants can start to grow larger. The first small flowering plants might now appear, their seeds brought by birds. Their roots reach down into the new soil, holding it in place and preventing it from being washed away by the rain. This is a vital service. As the roots spread, they form a network that stabilizes the ground, allowing even more soil to accumulate. The plants are not just living in the soil, they are actively building and protecting their own habitat. It is a beautiful example of life creating the conditions for more life. As we approach day 90, the island has pockets of genuine fertility. What was once a uniform sheet of black rock is now a mosaic of different environments. There are barren, windswept ridges where only lichens can survive. But there are also sheltered valleys where a thin but rich layer of soil supports a growing community of grasses and small flowering plants. The creation of soil is perhaps the most significant milestone so far. It is the foundation upon which a much more complex and stable ecosystem can be built. The island is no longer just a rock with life on it. It is becoming a living, breathing landscape. In these final 10 days of our initial observation, the pace of change seems to quicken. The separate threads of rock, water, plants and animals are now weaving themselves together into a complex tapestry. The flowering plants that have taken root are now producing their own flowers. These bright splashes of color, yellow, white, or purple, stand out against the green and black. They are not just for beauty. They are a signal to the insects. Bees or moths, having made the journey here, are now busy flying from flower to flower, drinking nectar. This activity is critically important. As the insects feed, they carry pollen from one plant to another. This is pollination. It allows the plants to produce their own seeds that are perfectly adapted to life on this specific island. The plants are no longer relying solely on what the wind and waves bring them. They are beginning to create the next generation, right here at home. The birds also play a part, eating the fruits that form after the flowers fade, and spreading the new seeds to other parts of the island. The ecosystem is becoming self-sustaining. The food web is also growing more complex. More types of insects mean more food for spiders. The presence of flowers and seeds might attract new types of birds, perhaps small finches, who specialize in eating seeds. Lizards arriving on a raft of floating vegetation might find a paradise of insects to eat. Each new arrival finds a niche and in turn creates new niches for others. The island is becoming a dynamic community where different species depend on each other for survival. It is a system of checks and balances slowly finding its equilibrium. On day 100 we look at an island transformed. It is still young, still raw and rugged in many places. The black volcanic rock is still visible everywhere, but it is no longer silent or empty. The air is filled with the sound of bird calls and the buzzing of insects. Green vegetation has softened its harsh edges. The scent of soil and flowers now mixes with the salt of the sea. In just over 3 months, a sterile piece of rock has become a functioning, growing ecosystem. It is a powerful testament to the resilience and opportunism of life. Watching this island for 100 days has been a profound privilege. We have witnessed a miracle, not one that happened in an instant, but one that unfolded slowly, step by step. We saw how the simplest forms of life, like lichens and mosses, can conquer the most hostile of environments. We saw how the wind and the sea, which can be forces of destruction, can also be messengers of life, carrying the seeds of a new world. We saw how the arrival of one species, like a bird, can open the door for dozens of others, from plants to insects. It is a story of connection, of how everything is linked. This process of creation is not just something that happened in the distant past, it is happening right now, on this island and in other new places around the world. It shows us that life is not a fragile, delicate thing. It is a powerful, persistent, and creative force. It can take a sterile, lifeless canvas of rock and, with nothing but sunlight, water, and time, paint a masterpiece of biodiversity. Every square inch of this new soil, every new leaf, and every insect is a victory. It is a triumph of survival and adaptation against incredible odds. This is the engine of our planet. The story of this volcanic island holds a vital message for all of us. In a world where we so often hear stories of loss and destruction of ecosystems, this island is a beacon of hope. It reminds us that nature has an astonishing capacity to heal and to create. It shows us that even from a desolate beginning, a rich and complex world can arise. It is a lesson in patience and resilience. The world we live in, with its magnificent forests and diverse oceans, was built in exactly this way, through countless small steps over millions of years. Therefore, we must cherish and protect the ecosystems we have. They are the result of an ancient and wonderful process, a process that continues to this day. Every time we protect a forest, a reef, or a wetland, we are protecting a living miracle. This little island, in its first 100 days, has shown us the immense power and beauty of new beginnings. It is a reminder that the story of life is always being written, and it is our responsibility to ensure that there are always blank pages where it can begin anew. The birth of an ecosystem is, and always will be, one of the greatest spectacles on Earth.